Safety and cool. There are not many Venn diagrams when these two words overlap, especially when it comes to biking and skating helmets. But I reckon I found the exception. Look at this. Hi folks, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at the FARO helmet from Unit 1. A super smart, app-enabled helmet for bikers, one-wheelers and scooterists. Like scooties? Scootists? What do you call people who ride scooters anyway? So Unit 1 launched this product back in 2021 and promptly smashed their $20,000 target, raising over $500,000 to bring this product to the market. And having just picked up my first e-bike, more on that in another video, I wanted to make sure that I had an equally smart helmet in order to keep this big round head safe when I'm out and about on the roads. And full disclosure, I have partnered with the team at Unit 1 to bring you this review, but what you're about to hear are my own fair opinions and thoughts. You'll hear about the good, the great, and the stuff I think could be improved. Let's start by seeing what you get in the box. So as we can see, when we open up the box, we get a few little extras. I like how the optional indicator remote is included as a separate box. And the first thing we see when we open the box is the helmet itself. I went with the Maverick colour, which is a medium to light blue shade. There are in fact 4 options to choose from, and the other colourways are titled Blackbird, Stingray and Juniper. Also included here is a user manual and also a charging cable, which is USB-C to USB-A. I'm glad this is included as the charging port is actually quite deep in the unit and most standard USB-C cables probably wouldn't be able to connect. So on to setup, and setup is really straightforward. First step is to charge the helmet and any accessories that you might have. Now the charging port for the helmet is just under this rubber cover round the back. Now the FARO just takes around 3 hours to charge to full from completely empty. And lights on the back of the helmet show you how much is left to go when you're charging, which is a really helpful feature, and you'll see they change from blue to green as the helmet charges up. And while you're waiting to charge, you might as well download the app from Unit 1. Then it's just a case of turning everything on and firing up the app. The app will then prompt you to pair with the helmet and you're away. So that's us unboxed and set up. Let's check out some of the features on this thing. So let's start with looks. I think design's very subjective, but I personally think this helmet looks absolutely awesome. If you spend any time looking at other smart helmets that are on the market, they tend to look a bit traditional without any obvious flair or subtlety. And for me, the design that they've gone with here with the FARO is a lovely blend of kind of contemporary and also classic looks, the likes of which you kind of associate with a brand like Brompton. And in terms of sizing, I was on the borderline between medium and large, and I went for the large in the end after checking the website's sizing instructions. Now, it does sit quite high on my technically large head. And the main thing is, of course, this is the main reason you would buy a helmet. You will get noticed. And when you think about it, most lights on a bike are definitely not at eye level. They're usually kind of quite far down, and they might be obscured by things like panniers or locks. And this is so much brighter than any type of traditional light that you'd attach to yourself or to your bike. So I'm really happy and confident that this will get me spotted when I'm out on the roads. So let's get some specs out of the way next. So weight-wise, this comes in at 580 grams. The battery life is 1,850 milliamp hours. That means that it lasts about 10 hours on a full charge. The total output is over 500 lumens. It also has a number of safety certifications, none of which I'm going to attempt to pronounce or explain, but I'm sure they're really impressive. And as you'd expect, the entire helmet, including the fabric around the back, is both waterproof to IPX6 standard as well as scratch proof. So as we've seen, there are in fact 3 sets of lights that can be customized in both behavior and intensity. So there's the front light, which is capable of a pure white beam, and this can be set to solid, strobe, flash, or beacon. Then round the back we have 2 more lights. There's the strip here, which has the same options as the front, albeit in red. Here's solid, strobe, flash, and beacon. Finally, we have the hidden light, which is behind this mesh fabric. Now this can do all sorts, from a solid glow to a strobing effect, a flash, beacon, or a bounce. This one kind of reminds me of the Knight Rider car. I think it's really cool. You can also customize the color of this section. It doesn't need to be red. You've got pretty much a full RGB selection to choose from here. Now there's also the ability to set this part of the helmet to respond when you brake, either with a solid colour or a strobing effect, and again you can customise the sensitivity of how it responds to this. So we'll come back to this hidden part of the helmet when we look at turn signalling. So it is worth talking about the app. There's lots of information and customisation available here. So you can create your own multiple configurations for the different sections of the helmet, plus you can add things like weather responsiveness, so if it's going to be really foggy or if it's a rainy day, the lights will adapt to make sure that you can be seen. Likewise, there's some ambient temperature monitoring, so if it's a really bright day, the helmet will adjust and hopefully save you a bit of battery life. So in terms of some other features, there's some really clever fall detection built into the device. It can detect a significant fall, and if you were to become unresponsive, it will fire off a distress signal to a predetermined contact. There's also a ride tracking feature built into the app which measures things like pace, elevation, distance, and you'll get things like badges and challenges to complete. So let's move on to talk about MIP. So this is an optional extra that you can buy, which is a kind of cage that sits inside the helmet and it builds on the existing protection that's provided. It improves the way that impact is absorbed in collisions where your head rotates. You can see it just sort of ever so slightly rotates inside the helmet. In practice, what this means is that the helmet will allow your head to rotate in a subtle, multi-directional way that absorbs more of the impact in the event of a blow to the head. And this makes it far less likely that you'll suffer severe damage from something like a brain injury if you're unlucky enough to have an accident whilst you're riding. The MIPS feature only adds another 12 grams to the helmet, so for most people, I think this will be a no-brainer, pun kind of intended. So I also opted for the navigation remote. Now this little device straps to your handlebars, or in my case I put it on my brakes, as this was naturally where my thumbs fall where I'm riding, and it allows your helmet to signal your turn via a variety of options on the hidden panel. So this also charges via USB-C, and it's got 30 hours of continued use from a single charge. Really impressive. So if we check out the effect, you can have this behave like a car with a blinker. You can make it do a full sweep in the direction you're turning, or even half a sweep from the center of the helmet. And again, just stressing the level of customization here, you can have it switch on for either 3, 5, or 10 seconds. So as you can see, this thing is feature packed. In terms of what it's like to wear, yes, it is a little bit heavier than some helmets, but it is very comfortable. And part of that is that it has 5 vents which aid ventilation. And another great feature is that the clasp is magnetic. This makes it so easy to fit, and it avoids that horrible kind of skin trapping that can come from more traditional clasps. So if we move on now to a handful of things that I think can be improved. Battery life, it's just okay. And I get this is a total trade-off between comfort and performance. If you were to have a much longer battery life, you'd have to have a bigger battery, which would be even more weight on your head, which would probably put some pressure on your neck and your shoulders, which not many people would want. The fact is, you get up to 10 hours on a full charge, which means for most people, if you're using this every day with lights on, you can expect to be charging it a few times per week. But of course, you might not use the lights on the helmet for all of your rides, especially in these bright summer mornings and nights. Now in my testing, I've been riding every other day using my own custom setup of lights, and I've found that I've only needed to charge maybe once, maximum twice per week. Another thing I'm not 100% sold on is the app's feature to have things like ride tracking built in. I think if you're the sort of person that's going to buy one of these helmets, you're probably already wedded to a platform like Strava or Map My Ride, or even iOS's activity tracking. So it kind of seems over-engineered, and in my testing I found that I wasn't drawn to use this feature at all. Now, in the unlikely event that you are getting this helmet and you haven't signed up for the likes of Strava or Map My Ride, or using any other kind of activity tracking system, you'll be happy with this, but it wasn't for me. So let's get into pricing. Now the helmet itself will set you back £190 sterling, which is around $210. Now if you want the turn signal remote pack, that's an additional £35 or $40, and the inclusion of the MIPS system is another £40 or $40. So the total package you're looking at about £265 or $280 US. Now if you compare this to other smart helmets on the market, this does come in towards the premium end, but I hope I've highlighted here, you're getting a lot with this setup. And thanks to the connectivity, you can look forward to incremental updates over the air via the app. Now, if you want to buy one of these for yourself, all you need to do is follow the link in the description below and pair it with the discount code Gilroy, and you will get a sweet 20% off all the prices I've just quoted. Pretty cool, eh? And a big thanks to Unit 1 for making that possible. So in conclusion, what do I make of this FARO smart helmet? Now, if you're in the market for one of these, you're probably a bit like me. You're into your tech, into your biking or one-wheeling or skating, and you're looking for something that will turn heads whilst protecting yours. And this ticks that box and so much more. And I would definitely think it's worth a look if you're in the market for a new helmet. Folks, if you've got any questions or thoughts about this product, product, please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this, be kind, hit the like button, and if you want to see more like this, maybe even a cheeky subscribe. See you next time.